All and welcome back to my channel. As requested, this is the first portion of the 100 heads challenge. So super excited to show you guys how this went along. Just to give you a point of reference, this is the sketchbook that I am using for this challenge. So really nice paper, has held up to multiple levels of different products. Here are some of their other mixed medias. And yeah, I just really liked the landscape size of it and to be able to incorporate different things. Before we hop into actually looking over the sketchbook, I just wanted to go over what my goals for this sketchbook were. Obviously, I wanted to complete 100 heads since that is the challenge, and that's really the main goal. But a big key for me is that I wanted to use different materials. I wanted to be able to learn and experiment more with my Faber Castell Polychromos. I had also just bought this jelly gouache set, and so I wanted to test out paints and see what I liked and really push myself on color and composition and making sure that those faces are correct, and using watercolor or using, you know, my multicolor pen that I talked about in a previous video, or just, you know, using, I think Bics, plain old Bic pens. Just really pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I could have easily thrown out 100 heads and just really cranked them out and gotten that done in a few days. But I wanted to learn from this experience. I wanted to learn watercolors or using mixed media and a combination of the watercolors and the jelly gouache and maybe my alcohol markers. I can't tell you how much I have already learned, and I can't wait to show you the inside of this bad boy. So let's hop right in. Before we hop in, I do want to say thank you so much to all of my friends, family, and followers for submitting photos for me to draw. It was really nice to have a sketchbook that wasn't just full of strangers. So let's get right in. And first page starts out with a bang. So off to the left here we have the Daughters from Downton Abbey, and this was done in my 𝐼𝐸𝐵𝐿 gouache set with some pencil done over top. And just love the way that that turned out. It just felt like a really good start to this sketchbook. And then off to the right here, we have some Ohuhu alcohol markers with colored pencil. And then I also used like a Bic pen for the really fine details on that head wrap. And yeah, this page set just, I have no words. It was great. It just really lit a fire to want to continue doing this challenge. And then over here we have some alcohol marker in the background, but otherwise this is mainly done with graphite pencil using hash marks and just playing around with different styles and techniques and pushing myself to learn something. And over here we have this glorious photo done with alcohol markers, colored pencils, my white gel pens, and just going back to pushing myself out of my comfort zone, not necessarily drawing in every detail, but getting the right face shape. And then here for drawing 9, I actually ended up taking 2 pieces of tissue paper, gluing those into my sketchbook, and then doing a face around it. And I'm super happy with how it turned out. Like, it just, I plan to do more of these. This was fun to do. And then off to the right here, we have this ballpoint pen drawing, and then she was wearing these super fun cheetah glasses. I think that's cheetah print, right? Cheetah, leopard, animal print, you know what I mean, glasses, and I had to incorporate those as well, so I added those in with some gouache, and super happy with how that portrait turned out. And then on this page we went more into the Bic pen, so just a classic black Bic, and working on those drawings And over here we have some graphite, just I believe a 2B graphite, and going back to adding some hatch marks. And I believe both of those images are out on my Pinterest board for 100 heads. Like I mentioned previously, I wanted to incorporate a mixture of movies and people on Pinterest, or images on Pinterest, and then friends and family. So these two images here off to the left are also on that Pinterest board, and going back to messing around with the alcohol markers, the colored pencils, and just different color values. And then on drawings 18 and 19, continuing to use the alcohol markers as well as the illustration markers for both of these beautiful ladies. And on drawings 20 through 24, I used a watercolor pencil, so sketched it out and then went back in with a watercolor brush and tried to keep those light values light. And this was a ton of fun. I hadn't really messed around much with my watercolor pencils as just a sole painting source. I normally go back over with like illustration markers, and so very happy with how these turned out. I especially like this page, the two girls in the front with the girl in the back. Very happy with how that turned out. And then off to the left here, continuing with that Bic ballpoint pen. I do really like the response of the Bic ballpoint pens that I use, maybe more so than the multicolor pen. And then for 27 and 28, I went back to my Pinterest board using some of those alcohol markers in combination with the Faber Castell Polychromos, my white gel pen, and then I did actually use my multicolor Bic pen to add some of the finer details, like the little flowers. On this page, we are back to using that watercolor pencil and a little bit of watercolor with my Bic red pen, so that way I could add in some of these finer details, and just thought red would fit for this lovely shot. Then off to the right here, I am using that multicolor pen that I had bought through Target. I will say it's a little harder to work with than other pens that I've used previously. I just don't feel like you can get as light a lines as what you can with like a Bic pen. But playing around with color and face shape. And then going back to graphite. I always like drawing people that I know or people's kids. More fun than just necessarily drawing a bunch of strangers. And I love this spread. It was a picture I found on Pinterest, and it's just a girl with like a bunch of different cubes, and so she has these different facial expressions in each of them, and so I just chose a few in that assortment and did it into one big long piece. And yeah, I love it. It is done in gouache and gouache, Polychromos, my white gel pen, and my illustration markers, I believe. I don't think there was any alcohol marker used in this, but I could be wrong because that was a while ago. And these are for drawings 38 through 43. Yeah, having a ton of fun. And then for 44 and 45, have these adorable little babies. Oh my goodness, they are so cute. Found those reference photos for the babies' faces on Unsplash. And make sure if you are using items off of Unsplash that you're going out and giving that artist some love for putting that picture out there for us to use, because they need our support too. And for drawings 46 and 47, going back to using alcohol markers, and then try to use a pretty limited color palette. But I love how these turned out, especially with the like details of the pen. Yeah, just beautiful. And then went to going back to that watercolor pencil. And then did some watercolor pencil with some more fine lines added over top, but that I didn't actually make the pencil or connect the pencil with water, so it retained those very nice crisp edges. Oh, and we're getting to the end. Should I show you quick? All right, so this will actually be the last images for this first look through on my 100 heads. So let's, dun dun dun! I love this. Absolutely love the way that this turned out. It just looks so sharp. It is the Ohuhu alcohol markers, Polychromos, and my illustration. This is from Princess Bride. This is Wesley and Princess Buttercup. And yeah, I am so happy with how this image turned out, and to be able to start incorporating more movies into this. And then here is the final drawing that I will be showing, which is actually drawing 54 of this sketchbook, and this is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to die. If you haven't seen the movie, you won't get that reference. I watched that movie a lot as a kid, so I felt like I couldn't draw Wesley and Buttercup without drawing him. He's a key figure in that movie. And this was one of the first paintings that I had done with my brand new jelly gouache set. Definitely took a little bit of learning to figure it out, but I love it. I think it looks super great. So yeah, that is the first half of my 100 heads challenge. And so far up until this point, I was very happy with pushing myself further, testing out different supplies, trying out different techniques, and just learning from, I don't want to say mistakes, but things that I may not have liked on a previous page. And just really pushing myself. And I can't wait to show you guys the next half. So I hope you liked this first sneak peek into the 100 heads challenge, and I hope at the very least you all have a fabulous rest of your day. And thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video and support my channel.